Welcome to the Good Roads Podcast. This is your bulletin breakdown for May 18th, 2026. We are here with our two contributors, Thomas Barakat and Andrew Blackburn. Gentlemen, I guess when this airs, the weekend will have passed and it will have been the May 2-4 weekend. What did you have planned for that?
Getting outside, enjoying this apparently super nice weather. We're supposed to get, they're saying it's going to feel like 30 degrees one of these days. Considering I was wearing a toque yesterday and some gloves, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Nice. We got my wife and I are taking the kid out to Niagara on the Lake for Monday. We were late on booking. We were thinking of doing camping in Monday, and then we were like, no good cabins available if on short notice. But if you book just Monday evening of the long weekend, it's cheap because everybody's checking out.
Everyone's heading back.
Nobody's staying Monday night, so we got a cheap hotel room. We're going to go walk around I was looking at hikes, and what came up was the waterfront hike close to Niagara on the Lake, which is just flat ground and lake view. So
is it easy to hike with a 2-year-old, Andrew?
Yeah, no, but that's the objective. It's good for a toddler.
Not going to be hiking.
Exactly. I wanted to go to Niagara Glen, and ChatGPT was like, "Do not take a toddler to Niagara Glen. You will be carrying the toddler most of the time." Like, all right, good to know. Thank you.
It'll be like a rucksack talking back to you the entire way.
Yeah, exactly.
So it sounds like Andrew's going to the cabin. Anybody going to the cottage or the camp or the chalet, as it were? Just found this out too. I did a Google Translate. Chalet actually translates into cottage. So our Quebec brethren and sisterin are right with us talking about the cottage.
Give me some of that cottage sauce, Jared.
Swiss cottage.
Swiss cottage.
Yeah. I mean, chalet sauce is bad enough. Cottage sauce sounds disgusting.
It sounds like what cottage cheese starts as.
Yeah.
Chalet cheese. Is that a better name? Yeah. I am remiss too last weekend for not mentioning Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there and to all the people who made them mothers. Much like myself, I get showered with gifts on Mother's Day for giving my wife the gift of being a mother. And I am joking about that. Please don't cancel me, everybody. What did you guys do for your Mother's Day?
Oh my God. Taken aback by the comment. I went and spent time with my mom, took her out to a nice Mother's Day dinner. Actually, in my family, my mom's birthday falls a few days before Mother's Day, so we're always trying not to May 6th.
May 6th, right? My mom's also May 3rd. I remember they were close.
And you always you want to not cheapen it by doing a 2-in-1, but you also don't want to you can only, my mom doesn't like going out that much, so you don't want to take her out twice. So it's always trying to find different things to do for the birthday and then Mother's Day. So. But it was good. She had a good time. Yeah. So especially because her son's such a success. She always, every day of her life is just
successful podcast host, right?
That was my bad joke, Jared.
Anyway, should we dive right into it, gentlemen?
Yes, I think we should, Jared.
We'll get out of that conversation and get out of canceling Jared. So let's get started on the first topic of the week. Canada Road Safety Week is upon us again. Gentlemen, we've got 5 minutes on the clock. This is an interesting topic. Road safety is our bread and butter. So 5 minutes on the clock. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. All right. Well, yes. Happy Canada Road Safety Week to those that observe it. Happy Canada Road Safety Week, Thomas. Happy Canada Road Safety Week, Jared. Yes, as Jared mentioned, this is we always look forward to it every year, really. Canada Road Safety Week, if you're just looking at the news, it sort of manifests in two different ways. You get usually you hear about it before Canada Road Safety Week. So Road Safety Week is this past week for our listeners leading up into the long weekend. Yeah. So it's a little bit more than a week, and during that week, the police will be out. The OPP will be out. Your local police should probably be out. So you should see a heightened police presence because everybody typically does a enforcement blitz during this week. So usually in the news cycle, you see, it's Canada Road Safety Week. Everybody be aware that the police are on the road. And then afterwards, you see the police were out on the road and they gave so-and-so this many tickets in this region. So last year, for instance, during Canada Road Safety Week, I saw one social media post from the OPP saying that they gave out 7,800 tickets during the week. Of course, and that's just the OPP. So a lot of the local police organizations also are probably going to be out there in full force. And this is something that's brought to you by, and I did not know this previously. It's sort of part of the Canada Road Safety Strategy 2005 35 and beyond. Now, Thomas and I think we've talked about this in the past. So this is like the federal strategy. So now I'm going to try and figure out if I should go out on a rant about this or not. So it's always welcome. The police are out on
a rant about the safety week or about the strategy.
The strategy.
Okay.
So this is a big part of it because like the strategy, as I think we mentioned this before, the strategy is very, very light on Vision Zero, and as this demonstrates, they are over reliant on things like enforcement. These are good things. We need enforcement. This is very, very good, but it's only a piece of a total road safety strategy.
Of course. And this is, but you know what? It's funny. The reason why I asked that is not because I want to go on a rant about Road Safety Week. I think overall these kinds of things are good. They help kind of raise awareness and whatnot. But it kind of feels like, the OPP and, they do this blitz, every beginning of the summer kind of weekend. And I know don't get me wrong, they're out there, but I kind of feel like they do it and then people forget about it and then they do it. And it's just like, I would like to see like more kind of sustained, not just with enforcement, but with like, it's one of those things where people like, they do it for Road Safety Week and they do it at back to school where they're like, the cops are going to be out, drive safe, don't speed. But then people still go and speed every other week or day of the year. Exactly. And this is kind of why enforcement alone is not enough. And this kind of ties into what you're saying about the safety strategy. Enforcement is important, but it's not enough. Road design, education, which I guess this is kind of what... Yeah,
this is part of the education spoke as well, especially with the comms angle that it comes out. Yeah. But and it's like, as you're saying, it's just like there's a lot of stuff that is lacking in the Canadian road safety strategy. And it's funny, it's like we were talking to David Zipper when he was coming up to the conference in the old format of the podcast. And I was saying, it's like, well, at least you guys have a federal Vision Zero strategy from the top down, because they just got, it gets whittled down and then nothing happens on the ground except for like, Hoboken, New Jersey, for instance. But it's like, at least they have federal guidance on the top of this. They're actually like shuffling down to the other.
Like maybe back then, I don't know, man. Like I'm pretty sure they've gutted everything. I'm pretty sure, not to get political here, but I'm pretty sure Project 2025 was like opposed to Vision Zero. And that's what they're trying to do.
No, exactly. We're not talking about that though. Anyway,
I'm just saying they're
I'll have one other thing, and this is going to sound like a nitpick because I know we're running out of time on this topic. Now the OPP, so the OPP says they are targeting the four big things, which is impaired driving, distracted driving, speeding, and running without a seatbelt. And I want to have an aside. It's like, can you guys believe that it is 2026 and 1/8 of the people who die on Ontario roads are people who don't have a seatbelt?
Yeah, that boggles my mind.
What more
right?
can we do to get people to it's huge. But the one thing is so the OPP has these four categories, and I'm all for it. But from the Canada Road Safety Week, their official thing is they have the impaired driving, fatigue driving, distracted driving, driving aggressively, and driving without a seatbelt. And this is going to sound like a nitpick. I actually strongly disagree with they package speeding into aggressive driving, and that's how their comms works out for this. Where it's just like that, and I feel like that actually lowers the priority of speeding, delegitimizes the urgency of speeding, because not all speeding is what you would deem as aggressive driving. A lot of speeding just happens because the road design allows for it, or just people are just going faster. I wouldn't term all speeding as aggressive, but it is one of the biggest common things. So the OPP is their language is completely different. They're targeting speeding, and that's I think that's much, much more appropriate. Anyway, just wanted to say that.
You got it out of your system. All right. That wraps up that topic. Stay safe out there, everybody. Mother's Day just passed. You don't want your moms crying from being a victim to not being safe on our roads. So, with that somber thought, let's move on to the next topic. Rideshare drivers just driving around half the time. 5 minutes on the clock, gentlemen. I think the title speaks for itself, but let's hear what's going on. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right, let's do this. Okay. So, you're right, Jared. The title kind of does say it all, or most of it. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to use Toronto as a bit of as an example here. But I think pretty much, I'd say most of our listeners have used Uber or any ride sharing app at some point, even if they're not regular users of it. Like maybe if you're not from the GTA or you're not from a big urban area, you've probably been with someone who's called you an Uber or called an Uber. So you have experience. But like if you think about it, you open the app, right? And if you're looking, where you want to go, you will see a bunch of Ubers in the area. Like it will just show cars that are kind of close by, right? So this is what's known as deadheading, which is driving without a passenger, which means Uber drivers just driving around. So this now accounts for a 47% share of rideshare kilometers driven in so far this year. So that's nearly half the time. So those cars are just out there, A, they're burning gas, but B, they're taking up space, like they're causing congestion. So since 2020, that rate has kind of ranged from 40 to 57%. So it's not really getting better. It's probably getting worse overall. But meanwhile, the number of rideshare vehicles, and we're going to use Toronto again as an example, it's more than doubled. So in 2020, there were 14,500 rideshare vehicles per day. Now that's at 32,900. So almost 33,000.
Yeah. So it's not just that they're driving around, but it's just like there's just more and more and more of them. They're all driving around.
Yeah, and they outnumber taxis by 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because taxi plates are capped and they're not all on the road at the same time. So it's just like you sort of have to extrapolate from that. That's just like,
and they account for 14% of all downtown traffic. Like, again, we're using Toronto as an example here. Yeah. But think of how many stories we've heard of the traffic in Toronto and blah, blah. It's like, well, this is 14%. You know what I mean? Like that's not insignificant. Like that's something right there.
Yeah. So, and if you go into the article, I'd be interested to see how these trends play out. Because so far, like you keep on seeing like the number of rideshare drivers going up and up and up. It's down a little bit this year. I'm actually wondering if that's just because of winter. Maybe there's fewer rideshare drivers in the first couple.
It's only so far. Like let's look at these numbers again.
How that plays out. Yeah. But like this makes me think of our previous conversation about robo-taxis, and it's like let's just say that takes 5 years, and we got more rideshare drivers every year, and then we add a bunch of driverless taxis.
But do the robo-taxis? Do they make things better or worse?
Well, I think at first, at the very, very least, they're going to be adding to the traffic. You know what I mean?
Because some of the arguments that you hear from some people who are very bullish on robotaxis is that they'll only be there when you need them. They won't just be, they'll be out of commission somewhere, but then when you call it will come out. It's not just going to be driving around. Now, I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, it's just going to be sitting in a bike lane somewhere.
Like, I want to say no way, but chances are, the cyclists are going to get.
It's not a bug. It's a feature. Yeah. Well, we'll see how that plays out, and it's maybe that'll even out. Well, and another thing with robo-taxis to go against my argument is that when they're first on the road, I think they're going to be very, very popular. So they probably won't deadhead all that much because they're just going to be so busy because everybody's going to be like.
But can you just call and know that it's going to be like?
So this is what was happening in other jurisdictions. There were actually people like a lot of drivers in the network were getting canceled on because people were phishing for robo-taxis.
Oh.
They were like canceling rides until they got the right one.
I guess it's just like the novelty because people want to try it out. Like it's funny, every time a Canadian goes down to like Texas or California and they go into one of these, they're like, oh wow, and they'll post like a video about like, oh, I'm in the future here.
No,
like
exactly. And Torontonians that like, like a new like, the Chick-fil-A opens up and they have to shut down the highway because they're all in lineups and just like they're all going to be flocking to this new thing that they all want to try at the same time.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
Any other restaurant.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I don't know. Let's see what the future has in store for us on this issue. But I'm curious, like for example, when there's like a big event like the World Cup, which is coming very soon, would this help or would this make it worse?
I don't know.
People just take transit, but
I'm waiting to see the complaints about surge pricing during the World Cup because I know there's definitely going to be more drivers on the road and like I know that there's probably going to be like artificial surge pricing. Let's be honest,
there's probably going to be some FIFA surcharge just because they can.
Yeah. All right, let's cut it off there before Thomas gets into his rant about FIFA again. But Andrew, good callback to last week's articles. We'll put those on the screen at the end of the episode just so you can go back and check it out. But until then, let's move on to the final topic today. And it seems to fit with Canada Road Safety Week very, very well. We're looking at don't drive like they do in commercials. Yeah. Gentlemen, we've got 5 minutes on the clock in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right. Yeah. So there's a new study that just came out from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety in the U.S. They've taken a look at 3,000 commercials dating back to 2018. And they found that just more and more of them have really just, like there's what, you kind of picture a car ad in your brain and you can see them, peeling around on the salt flats and doing super moves and burning like doing wheelies and figure eights and stuff like that. So they're becoming more and more like this. Like they say 43% are all focused on speeding, maneuverability, tracking power, like the stuff that you don't do that much. And only 8% of the ads emphasize safety at all. While only 3% of the total ads had that as like the primary thing, like this is a safe vehicle. So it's like all these like the metrics where they're touting the safety of vehicle are all going down, and the metrics where they're like showing doing stunts and stuff like that is all going up. So this is the researchers are saying this is giving people a really, really bad idea, especially in the United States where like speeding is up, everything is up, like dangerous driving is up, and their road fatalities are out of control. But I think it's the same in Canada. It's like we don't have like that different of ads.
Well, and this contributes to, like this is just part of the kind of car culture, car mentality, like most people will look at this and say like they don't see anything wrong with that because it's just kind of like when you've grown up within a certain system or a certain culture, you don't see it for like you don't notice that it's not that it's weird, but like you don't notice like because it's just there. It's just always kind of been a part of your existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But so it's kind of interesting because it's like they're kind of figuring out. So what is it? Let's pause a psychological or a sociological question. What is an SUV?
A sport utility vehicle.
It's a minivan crossbred with a sedan. It's
Isn't that what a crossover is?
Kind of, I don't know, but that's how they all started. All the SUVs used to be crossovers, right? So now every vehicle on the road is an SUV, which is essentially just a minivan sized car, and they're not sexy, but the car manufacturers are just like, we got to really convince people to buy SUVs. We got to show them that they're fast and they got performance and they got V8 engines and all that stuff. So they've like really doubled down on this entire thing.
Fair enough. I know, but the point I was going to make was if you look at elsewhere, and this is what I find very interesting. If you look at France and you look at the UK, and these are two countries that do have auto industries and kind of like they have they have that kind of big auto present within their own countries. But in the UK, for example, ads are banned from promoting dangerous driving. And in France, every car ad apparently has to include a message encouraging people to either walk, cycle, or take public transit, which I got to say, I love that. I
thought
that.
this was fascinating. Like, I'd never heard that before. That was also my big takeaway from this story as well. It's just like, the UK is not allowed to show reckless driving in commercials because they're just supposed to show the vehicles as you normally use them.
Yeah.
Just
I wonder, like, do you any idea how long that law has been on the book? Like, is that recent?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm very also I'm very curious to know like what a French car advert looks like. I should probably try and figure that out. It's like, what is that? How does that law actually come into place? How is it? Not how does it come into place, but how is it applied? I'm very curious to know. Like, is it just like is it like the medicine ads in the States? It's like, will cause death, will cause anxiety, will cause this. Is it just kind of like it's like just at the end?
You must consider public transit or walking.
You should not drive your car so much. You should not get some fresh air.
Or it's part of a balanced breakfast, but part of a balanced transportation diet.
Or is it like, you just have to show, there's people in the car, but there's also like, it drives by a bus and everybody's like waving and everybody's, just very interested to know how it's applied.
It could be like, because we're talking about cycling too, it could be like one of those SUV commercials where they drive their bikes up to the mountains and then they're going to go.
Yeah, and they got the car, they got the bikes on the rack and stuff biking. Like that. And then they got a canoe on the top, and that, the car manufacturers are going to the regulator saying, does a boat count as an alternate form of transportation?
I wonder if they have like an office that like has to verify this. That anyway.
Yeah. No, it's good. No, exactly. Yeah. This is a good question in wake of the old Ticketmaster disasters. It's like, how many staff does the French government have on staff to analyze this content in commercials? It's like, okay.
And I got to agree with you guys though. It's funny because I didn't even know this article was in this issue of the Bulletin, and I was listening to an ad on the way home. Well, you guys sometimes don't get it done until the day before.
I'll show people how the sausage is made, Jared.
Anyway, I was driving home yesterday.
Up to the minute accurate articles. They're there you go.
I was driving home yesterday, and this is something that's always bothered me about car commercials. They're showing how fast they can go, and it's like, well, most people can't drive that fast because of speed limits. But I heard one yesterday. Congestion. But like I heard one yesterday, Cadillac, they're getting into the Formula One business, and they're explaining to people how they've revamped their cars for Formula One racing and to go fast. And all of that technology is now into their line of Cadillac cars that you can buy. It's like, who is going to use this? Like, who's going to be needing to go 220 around a hairpin turn?
Exactly. And in my opinion, cars shouldn't be able to go that fast. Like for like the civilian market, like just the public, cars shouldn't have that ability. Like no jurisdiction has a speed limit with 220 kilometers an hour, like as a max speed. You know what I mean? Like the Autobahn in Germany, sure, but none of us are going to drive the Autobahn in Germany. You know what I mean? Like,
we're going to ship our cars across the Atlantic to Germany just to go 220.
Yeah, no, and it kind of makes me think is like, along those same lines, it's like, I think we need more variable or variants of the actual vehicles we're allowed to drive. And I was thinking, I saw a smart car the other day. Remember smart cars?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen one in a year. It was like, no, like, and then, we were talking about the Fiat Topolino in one of our frequent stories, which is not legally a car. It's legally a quadricycle. I think we need a lot of these things is like, some people don't need to go like super fast. They just need to go around their neighborhoods or through downtown, stuff like that.
This is the interesting thing too, and we had a comment on last week's episode about this, is even though people can go this speed and there are some roads that are built for this speed, I don't trust people going that speed. Like our speed limits are low enough as it is, and people drive insanely crazy as it is. I don't think they need to be going faster. Yep. That's not going to make anybody safer.
No, exactly. And like if something goes wrong, you sure as heck don't trust their ability to know exactly what to do to minimize the damage.
Well, especially since we have absolutely no training when you get your license in Ontario. I've had this rant before, and you literally do not need training to get your license in Ontario. No, exactly. You've got like a 2,000-pound death machine, and you do not have to be trained on how to use it.
And there was a story last year in the GRB where people are going to different jurisdictions in the province because the road tests are easier. So they're not even like getting tested for the conditions in their own neighborhood.
And then as we recently, I guess we've been hearing about the truck drivers. A lot of these guys apparently didn't even have a proper license before, or driver's license before they got a truck. I think if I'm remembering that properly.
Oh my god!
And the Auditor General had a report on this, and apparently they're going to be cracking down. That's about time.
Let's put a bunch of new drivers behind a 3,000 ton. I have no idea how much a truck weighs, but anyway, a death machine.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
All right, that's a lot of negativity for the end of the show. So let's jump into something fun. And although this is going to be a little bit negative, we gave Thomas the week off on thinking of fun things. So I thought of something fun. So it's a little bit negative for a lot of people, a lot more fun for me. I'm very much into the Schadenfreude, and this has a lot of Schaden in its Freuden. I don't know if you guys have seen. I think you've seen. On social medias, there is a person called @TPS Bike Heart, and she is a Toronto bike cop, and she goes around Toronto looking for people parking in bike lanes. And as somebody, biking's not really my thing. I don't really care about it, but I like them to have their own area. And it keeps them away from me, and it keeps if I'm on a road and a bike's on a road, I always worry about hitting them, and that's my gripe with biking. So having their own lane is great. In downtown Toronto, people like to park in bike lanes, and for some reason these people like to think that putting on their four ways makes it okay. They're park anywhere lights. And she goes around and tickets them. It is a very, very fun thing to watch, and like I said earlier, Schadenfreude, the misery of others makes me happy. What are your thoughts on this?
Good for her. I wish when I used to cycle in Toronto when I lived there, it's like I kind of wish I had her cell phone number. Just like, hey, there's a guy, over there. It's just, but no, I want. What did she do if it's a cop?
That is the case a lot of times, unfortunately.
It happens. It's like
it does happen.
Cars of all stripes. Well, actually, we were just saying it's like there was a story last week about the Waymos. It's like I was sort of veiled reference to that, where it's just like and where Waymo is working in the States right now. A lot of them are pulling into bike lanes, and Waymo's just saying, well, that's what the passengers want. It's just like, okay, so the car will willfully disobey the law at the passenger's whim. This is like, okay, that's good to see.
Well, that becomes a slippery slope. Like, I got to get to this meeting in 15 minutes, run down as many pedestrians as you want. Is it going to listen to that too?
Exactly. It's just like, don't worry. They're just, they're not people.
They should get those tire puncturing spikes at the edge of the bike lane. So if they try to get in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it.
But I mean, this is why I advocate for curbed bike lanes. I mean, I was in Oshawa a couple of years ago, and I saw they did that in their downtown, and it's fantastic because number one, it makes sure cars don't drift into the bike lanes. But number two, and I see this a lot as well, is it makes sure bikes don't come into the line into traffic.
Yeah.
Because I see bike riders weaving, and then it keeps people from parking in the bike lanes too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, having it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how they're sectioned off, whether it's with bollards or with a raised or various. It's just like separated bike lanes are 100% safer for everyone involved.
Yeah, for drivers, for cyclists, for pedestrians, and it gets more drivers off the road. I think I have to the safer we can make it and the more appealing we can make it. Again, like Jared, he's not a cyclist and he gets it. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's going to be a cyclist, but there's a lot of people who would choose to cycle. It doesn't have to be every single day and doesn't have to be every single season, but there's a lot of people who would be open to it if it was safe. And the only way you make it safe is if you invest in the infrastructure. So you can't say nobody wants this because no one's doing it. You have to kind of build the network out. Anyway, there's so many rants going on here. Jared, you said this was going to be fun. This is not fun at all.
I'm having a good time, guys. But no, I want to give a shout out TPS_bike heart on Instagram. She's very active on that. I picked it up on Facebook. She's got X as well. Check her out. I'll put a link in the description to this. Give her some love. She does a lot of good work, and she's, from what I'm seeing, she's very, very fair about everything too. So, I mean, that's all you can ask, right?
Cool.
That's right. Until you get ticketed when you drive down to the Royal York for the conference, then we'll see how you feel after. And
there's lots of parking down there. You got the MTCC. There's valet parking at the hotel. There's lots of parking
until you're in a bike lane and somebody catches you. And
take the train. It's easier.
Yeah, it's way easier.
That's why we're right across from the Royal York.
Yeah. The only thing is, I don't want to call out Metrolinx because I love Metrolinx. And the people there are great, but they shut down the whole, like, so many, like, it's been shutting down so often now. And I'm just like, I'm like, I want to go down. I'm like, but I don't want to drive. And then I'm stuck, I'm just not going to go down. But those constant shutdowns, like, anyway, that's another rant that I'm tapping myself out here.
Tune into next week's episode where Thomas rants about the Metrolink shutting down. Let's call it for the day, gentlemen. Good discussions, good topics this week. A lot of fun. I just want to remind everybody, summer's in effect, and Good Roads has contract courses where we send people out to you to teach your municipal employees heavy equipment operation, winter operations, road school courses, just about everything you need to know. If you're interested in anything like that, it saves you sending people hotels, foods, per diems, all of that good stuff. We send the training to you. If you're interested in that, give Cherry Sales an email, Cherry, CHERRY @goodroads.ca. Let her know you're interested in a contract course and how many people you want to send to this contract course, and she will get you all the information you need. Snow school's coming up too. Check our website, goodroads.ca/education for all of our fall education courses. And until next time, everybody, take it easy.